We got to do these in the morning. I'm having problems keeping it together. Hey, Greg, start us. All right. So people buy these, they call them cheap e-bikes. I don't think that's fair. Sometimes it is, but this is certainly not. This is a fine, call it a mid-priced e-bike. And it's made for someone that's going to cruise around town, do stuff. Around town, you tend to run over junk on the road. Staples, glass, nails, thorns, thumbtacks, more nails. We've seen it all. And the solution that some companies have come up with, we work with a company called Tanis that makes an insert. As funny and goofy as this looks, they actually do a pretty good job. Those of you that have been in the fans of cycling for a long time probably remember Mr. Tuffy tire liners. And this is like the Super Mondo version of a Mr. Tuffy tire liner. So this is a tapered insert that goes inside the tire. You're still gonna put a tube in here, but the job of the insert, there's about a centimeter thick in here at the center of the tire where you're most likely to get stuff coming through the tire and causing a flat tire. This is not foolproof, nothing is. However, if you put one of these inserts in here, and again, your tire carcass is here, your tube is in here. If you wanna go the extra mile, it's pretty common to put slime in the tubes as well, and that gives you another layer of defense. If something does make its way through here, that you have a greater likelihood of making it home, not having to get a toolkit out and replace a tube or try to patch a tube alongside the trail. So we're gonna go through a little install. We'll use the front wheel because the rears are not as fun and easy, although we're gonna do that one later. And just give you guys kind of an idea of what this looks like when it's installed in the wheel. So here we go. Okay, so fun fact, I've never done this before. I'm not kidding. But I know the principle here because we use tire inserts for mountain bikes all the time, which is a different video that we'll probably do at some point. Again, the premise of this is tube lives in here, provides a little protection. Okay, so I think the easiest way to do this is probably gonna be to set this down here, feed in the insert, thusly. Get this around the rim. Okay, so now I got something that looks like this. I'm gonna feed my tube in here because it's now or never. So you probably want just barely shape to the tube. So I'm just using a screwdriver, which is a terrible idea. I'm gonna use a 4mm Allen key to depress the valve in there and just get this tube shrunk down a little bit more. Okay, so we start with the valve. Let's put the secret grease over there. And then maybe for safety's sake and to keep me from swearing a bunch, we'll put the valve cap on just so the valve can't sneak back into the rim. The reason you want to start at the valve is it keeps the tube centered to where it wants to be. Anytime you're installing a tube, you don't want there to be folds and creases inside the tire. So that's why you want a little air in there to help get you started. We're going to work both sides from the valve. So I'm feeling inside, I'm really just feeling the tube. I know until we can afford the see-through camera, you just gotta trust what we're doing here. So I'm just feeling, I'm gonna let a little more air out. I'm just feeling the tube to ensure that there are no wrinkles. And like right in here, there's a couple. So I'm just pulling them apart with my fingers a little bit and getting the tube to lay a little flatter inside. So that's feeling pretty good. Now we got to get the other lip of our insert in the rim channel. So what I'm doing now is I'm just feeding the other side of the insert down into the rim channel, and I'm just gonna get that going on. Okay, so if your valve is like this or like this, you really got to start over, as much as you're not going to want to do that or hear that. This isn't bad. This couple degrees is fine. Once we get some air in here, this is going to just straighten itself out, hang nice and straight. You don't want a lot of side loading on that valve. So the other side of our tire snuck off a little bit here. So we're going to coax that back on. And we'll flip him back over. And whenever possible, if you've got a rotor on there, I like to try to work most of the time with that up, because if this is laying against the bench, you're going to bend the rotor for sure. And that's no good. That's no good. And then you really want to try as much as you can to not use tire levers to seat the tire. Anytime you stick something like this, anytime you put one of these bad boys in there and pry the tire on, you're almost guaranteed to pop the tube. These tubes for these bikes are about 20 or 25 bucks, so be careful. About the other thing to keep an eye on is as you're inflating, especially these fatter tire bikes, these beads on these tires like to kind of sneak off, and again, tube explosion, so you want to be careful there. So I like to get just a little bit of air in and check. So I'm just looking at this line on the tire, this mold line on the tire all the way around, and I'm making sure it's nice and even around there. I'm going to check the other side, being careful not to bend the rotor, and that all looks really good. So I've got, I don't know, I probably have 4 or 5 psi in there, so now I'll double that. So recommended pressure is 5 to 15. I got close to 20 in there. So let's relax out on that a little bit. Okay, so 15. And that's Tannis insert for helping to prevent flats. Again, if you hit a big piece of something, you might flat again, but these are really good. We've had really good luck with these things. Historically, most people put these in that we've had people that are getting repetitive flats or using the bikes back and forth to work, and they come in once every other week with a flat tire, and we put these in and people have had really good luck. Again, you can back it up with some slime in there. Yes, the slime that has been around for decades. Same stuff goes in here. Follow my manufacturer's recommendations on how much to put in there. And that's what we got. We're gonna throw the wheel back on the bike, do the rear, which you guys are not gonna see because it's gonna be sweating a lot doing that. And then we're gonna go for a test ride.